Hey, e-commerce friend. Today's episode is a replay of one of our most popular episodes. And even if you listen to it the first time, I encourage you to listen to it again because it's likely your business has evolved a lot since then, and there might be something that's more relevant to you right now, or you might just hear it differently. So don't go away, listen through. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the E-commerce Badassery Podcast, the place for scrappy entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran and former brick-and-mortar boutique owner who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the E-commerce Badassery Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. The end of the year is near, which means it's time to start thinking about what's going to be on your to-do list in 2025. As an e-commerce business owner, I know it can be difficult to start wrapping your head around next year because at this point, you're just trying to get through your peak selling season and enjoy the holidays. But the sooner you can get a general idea of what you need to tackle in Q1, the better off you'll be. That's why today we're talking about some of the projects you might want to prioritize in the new year. You know, the ones that sit on the back burner and get pushed aside all throughout the year, and then you beat yourself up about the fact that you never got around to doing it. Yeah, those projects. While they admittedly require a bit of work and dedication to get done, they all serve an important purpose in your business and will help set the foundation for a kick-ass year. Not to mention the feeling of accomplishment when you can finally stop feeling bad that you haven't done it yet. You ready? Let's dive in. First on the list is, of course, email automation. Whether you've only got a few basics set up or maybe you have them all and you just haven't touched them in a while, Q1 is a great time to give your email automations an overhaul. I am a huge believer that done is better than perfect, and honestly, just having the basics set up is a win. But over the last year, I've seen so many e-commerce businesses with email automations that are just super bare bones. Sure, they've got a welcome series, a checkout abandonment series, and maybe even a post-purchase series, but they're not really leveraging automated email as well as they could be. Crafting a unique, personalized journey for your customers is the best way to generate passive income in a product-based business. And for many business owners, their email flows are an afterthought. I want you to really start to think about the journey your customers are taking when they join your list. What questions are they asking? What information do they need? What perks can you offer them? And how can you weave that into your automation suite? For example, if they've abandoned their checkout, it's likely something is holding them back. They have some objection. It's your job to make sure your checkout abandonment email overcomes these objections. That might look like answering FAQs in the email, showing screenshots of social proof, highlighting your easy returns and split pay options, or just giving them permission to spend money on themselves. If they're a repeat customer buying a consumable product, at what point do you intentionally invite them to join your subscription program so they can save a little money and you can generate recurring revenue? If you've never put this much thought into your email automations, Q1 might be the time to do it. Yes, it's a big project, but it's one of the smartest investments you can make as an e-commerce business owner. A well-optimized email suite works for you 24/7, bringing in sales while you focus on other parts of your business. If you need help creating a truly unique and optimized email automation suite like this, I recommend you check out Email Badassery. If you're listening to this episode in real time, the course is available on my website. Another great project for Q1, a product recommendations quiz. If you've been thinking about creating a product quiz, now is the time to do it. Quizzes help personalize the customer experience and boost conversions. Plus, they're going to integrate beautifully with your email flows. So it's smart to set this up before you refresh those automations if that's on your to-do list. Not only do quizzes allow you to collect more data about your customer that you can use to personalize your automated emails so they feel custom made for them, but it's also a great asset to reference in your emails to help your customers make a buying decision. For example, in your welcome email, if they get to the third or fourth email and they still haven't bought anything, maybe it's because they don't know what to choose, and so you can send them to the quiz if they haven't taken it already. One of my favorite apps for this is Shop Quiz Product Recommender. It used to just be called Product Recommendations. The developer is Revenue Hunt. It integrates with all your favorite e-commerce email platforms and has a lot of cool features and logic jumps and everything you need to create a really good quiz. Another thing you can do to create a better experience for your customers is to update or optimize your website. Now, before you go down the rabbit hole of endless tweaks and adjustments, let's pause. A lot of e-commerce business owners use website optimization as an excuse to hide behind their computer instead of putting themselves out there and actually marketing their business. Trust me, I get it. And honestly, this is not limited to e-commerce business owners. I know that tinkering with your website feels productive, but it's not going to magically drive traffic or sales. That said, it's still your digital storefront, and you owe it to yourself and your customers to make it as good as it can be. The key is to focus on high-impact improvements that enhance the customer experience and help you convert more of the people who are already showing up to your website. That's why I think taking a week or two in Q1 to give your website an overhaul can be a smart business decision. So here are some things or areas that you might want to focus on. Number one, upgrading to a new theme. If you're still on a 1.0 theme or just not on the latest version of your 2.0 theme, it might be time to upgrade. With every new release, usually comes some new features. For example, features like mega menus, search optimization, and even filtering are either built into the theme or work with Shopify's search and discovery app. Depending on the theme that you're on and how you've got your store set up, sometimes updating your theme means you get to get rid of some paid apps and simplify your tech stack. Another thing to consider is utilizing meta objects and meta fields. Meta objects and meta fields were a major upgrade to how Shopify stores information. For example, if you have ingredient information in your product description, adding it to a meta field gives you more control over where that content appears on the product page. You can also use them to create custom filters, unique how-to pages, and a whole lot more. While it takes a little time to think through how you want to utilize these in your store, once you have a solid system for how to organize your content on the back end, you can drastically cut down on the time it takes to add new products, new content, and ultimately gain more control over how that content appears on your website. You might also want to think about improving your product catalog organization. Merchandising an e-commerce store is just as, if not more important than merchandising a brick and mortar store. Your job is to make it as easy as possible for customers to find what they're looking for with clear categories, filters, and navigation. The wider your product assortment, the more important this is. You want your customers to get to the perfect product in as few clicks as possible, and they shouldn't have to scroll endless category pages to find it. A well-organized catalog doesn't just improve the customer experience and increase conversion, but it also helps with SEO. All the links your navigation creates helps search engines understand what you sell and how all of your categories intertwine. To be honest, this is one of those things that most of us don't spend enough time thinking about, especially as our assortment grows. So if you haven't updated yours in a while, consider making it a priority. Now, once you've got your products organized, you want to make sure those product pages are optimized to sell. Your product page is your salesperson, and you want to make sure it's designed to convert a browser into a buyer. When I'm thinking about content for product pages, I like to ask myself, how can I recreate the in-person experience on the internet? Remember, customers can't touch, feel, taste, smell, or try on what you're selling them. The images, videos, and written content on your product page is all they have to go on. So, Optimizing a product page is going to include really great images and or video that make it easy to see what the product is, to see the product in use, how it fits, etc. You're also going to want compelling copy that evokes the senses to make them feel as if they are experiencing the product firsthand. You'll also want to think about what hesitations or questions they might have and answer them right on the product page. Another way to go about optimizing your product pages is to highlight your top performing products with dedicated landing pages that focus heavily on their benefits, features, and social proof. The main difference between a landing page and a typical e-commerce product page is that the content below the fold is still specific to the product and much more robust than what you'd find on a regular e-commerce product page. I'm not going to go too deep into that here. If you want to learn more about using landing pages for your bestsellers, check out episode 294 of the podcast where I talked more about this. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, I know I have some website updates to make, and you need a little bit of help, some step-by-step guidance to optimize your Shopify store, or maybe you're thinking about switching to Shopify from another e-commerce platform, make sure you check out Shopify Badassery. This walks you through step-by-step how to set up your Shopify store. We talk about organizing your products, creating your navigation menu, creating filters, all of the things, soup to nuts. If you already have a pretty good handle on Shopify as a whole and you're comfortable navigating it and you know how to create pages in Shopify 2.0 and you think your products are already organized well, but you're not really comfortable with advanced features like meta objects, meta fields, or even automating parts of your store with Shopify Flow, then you're going to want to check out Shopify Secrets. Shopify Secrets will be available for sale during the Badassery Blitz. Shopify Badassery is already available. Shopify Secrets will be included with Shopify Badassery when it's released, so you don't need to buy both. If you already own Shopify Badassery, don't worry about this. You will get a notification when Shopify Secrets is available. I separated out Shopify Secrets for those who don't need the full soup to nuts walkthrough that Shopify Badassery provides. So you can think of Shopify Secrets as a module from within Shopify Badassery. Once Shopify Secrets is available during the Blitz and the promo page that's going to be live for the Blitz, it will reiterate this and explain it. But if you have any questions, you could always DM me on Instagram about it. Okay, so speaking of Shopify, if you're still using WooCommerce, Squarespace, or some other e-commerce platform, it might be time to switch. Shopify isn't the best choice for every e-commerce store, but it is the best choice for most e-commerce stores. We're not going to get too into the weeds on why that is today, but the easiest way to explain it is Shopify is like the iPhone of e-commerce platforms. I was actually late to the iPhone game. I resisted it for so long just because I hated how obsessed people were with it. But eventually I got annoyed that every new app that came out was created for iPhone first, with the Android version lagging behind or not coming at all. That's what it's like to be on Shopify. Anytime there's a new integration with another platform, the Shopify integration happens first. It also happens to be the most robust while also being the most user-friendly e-commerce platform. And it's very rare to get those two things together. If this has been nagging at you for a while and you've been thinking about it, Q1 is probably a good time to do this. If you want to make the switch, there is a link in the show notes where you can get a forever free trial to the platform. This gives you plenty of time to build your store without being limited to that 14-day trial and then having to pay right away. It is free until you are ready to go live. I have to set it up for you though, so I need you to fill out a form so I can do that, and then I give you access to the store. Now, if you're already on Shopify or have no desire to switch, then I recommend you just review your entire tech stack. Are you paying for things that you don't use anymore? Maybe you invested in an app for a specific functionality, but now your platform or theme has a native way to accomplish the same thing, or you're just not using it for some reason. For example, Shopify now has its own search and filter app, bundles app, and subscription app. While they are not the most feature rich, depending upon your needs, you can probably save a few bucks each month by switching to Shopify's free options versus any paid options you used previously. Then there's your email platform. If you're still using Flowdesk, you know what I'm going to say, right? While I generally recommend Klaviyo, Drip, or OmniSend depending upon your needs, my affiliate links are in the show notes, even Shopify's internal platform is better than non-e-commerce first platforms. If you're thinking about revamping your automations, you might as well switch your platform too. And don't limit your audit to just the apps you use on your website. Check for all recurring charges you might have forgotten about. Did you buy a LastPass subscription when you were sharing passwords with contractors that you don't use anymore? Did you pay for a task management platform that you stopped using because you prefer a quick to-do list instead? And don't forget to check for those annual subscriptions that you keep forgetting about until they hit your bank account, raising my hand because I'm guilty for this. If you have a team, bring them into the process too. There might be tools you got for them and they're not utilizing them much anymore, but you don't even realize. Audit all the things. Make sure you check where all your money is going. Then, speaking of your team, even if you don't have one yet, this is also a good time to document business processes that you want to delegate. You know that you can't scale your business if you're doing all the things. But bringing on new team members is one of the hardest parts of running a business. Once you find the right person, that's hard enough on its own, but now you've got to train them. And if your processes only exist in your head, it's going to be that much harder to get your people up to speed. That's why it's important to create standard operating procedures, also known as SOPs, for repetitive tasks in your business. Even if you're not ready to delegate yet, getting those processes out on paper will make sure that you're ready to hit the ground running when you do. And documenting the process is also super eye-opening. I remember when I did it back in the day for my podcast in preparation for bringing on a virtual assistant, as I was writing it out, I realized how many steps it actually was, and for the first time understood why it was taking me so damn long. So even if you don't intend to outsource right now, documenting these processes might be the kick in the pants you need to start delegating to someone else. If what you're documenting happens 100% on the computer, for example, adding a new product to your store, there's a tool that will generate the directions for you after you record yourself doing the process. The tool is called Scribe, Scribe. I'll stick a link in the show notes for that. Obviously, if you're talking about packing orders or something like that, that tool's not going to work for you. In that case, keep it simple, write everything up in a Google Doc. I love the latest update to Google Docs that allows you to create tabs. So it essentially, each tab creates a new page within the same doc. So it's really easy for someone to click through, and then you don't have to create these super long pages with tons of headings, and you don't have to have a bunch of different documents. It's way better organized. All right, so far we've covered a lot of back-end things that you can work on to increase conversion and streamline operations, but there are also some projects that can help you increase your visibility. For example, search engine optimization. SEO sounds overwhelming, but it's not as complicated as you think. There's also a lot of concern about whether or not SEO and Google search is dead because of AI tools. While we're seeing a change in search behavior and AI added to search engine results pages, SEO for e-commerce stores is far from dead. Even if SEO as we know it is completely obsolete in 5 years, something that is very unlikely by the way, there's no reason why you shouldn't try to capitalize on it for what it is right now. If this is something you want to work on, make sure you check out my SEO badassery course. We focus solely on creating and optimizing on-site content. We're not talking about backlinks or anything like that. It's just about the content on your site, and it goes beyond blog posts and product titles and that sort of thing. Depending on how long your store has existed, you can see results in as little as 3 months. And one of the updates that I'm going to be actually making in the new year is adding in some AI tools that you can use to implement the SEO content faster. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Speaking of getting found, getting your products on other sales channels is another way to increase your visibility. What's great about these platforms is not only does it get you in front of customers who may never have found you otherwise, once you get the channels set up initially, it's an opportunity to generate consistent passive sales with minimal ongoing maintenance. Now, does that mean any one of these channels is just going to revolutionize and blow up your business overnight? No, of course not. I wish. But does it give you the opportunity to generate some extra money every month? Sure does. So here are a few channels that you should consider. 1, Google Shopping. If you are not already on Google Shopping, you need to be. This is one of the easiest ways to reach customers actively searching for a product like yours. Similar to paid search ads, but for shopping. Once you set up your product feed, your products appear directly in the search results, complete with images, pricing, and depending upon which review platform you use and if Google decides to show them, reviews. It's the perfect way to capture high intent buyers and drive traffic to your store. Next, we have TikTok Shop. If you didn't already know, TikTok isn't just for dancing videos anymore. The platform shop feature is exploding with potential. This is especially true if your audience skews younger or they're very trend-driven, but I'll tell you, even the old folks are hanging out on TikTok now. Over the last few months, I've been hanging out on TikTok just as a content consumer, and I did actually buy something off a TikTok shop. And honestly, the content that is selling the products on there is so simple. It's literally just face-to-camera videos of people using the product, explaining how it works, seeing it in action like a typical UGC video. They're so easy to create, and it really could be a good opportunity to get a boost in visibility and sales. Then, of course, there's Etsy. If your products are handmade, customizable, or fall into some sort of niche category, Etsy is a no-brainer. It's a trusted marketplace. It has a built-in audience, and their shoppers are often looking for unique and creative items. Yes, there are some people that are just there looking for low prices. That's fine. Those are not your people. But there are plenty of product-based businesses who are selling higher-end, more expensive items on Etsy as well. Of course, I don't want it to be your main sales channel. That should always be your own website, but you just can't beat the number of users that Etsy has and its ability to show up in organic search rankings. If you're using YouTube in your business, then you want to make sure that you connect your products with YouTube Shopping. And that will allow viewers to buy directly from your content. So if you're on there creating tutorials, maybe you're doing behind the scenes videos, maybe you're doing product demos, maybe you're just doing live shopping sort of things there. Make sure you connect your product feed so that you can show your products underneath your videos. Then, of course, if you're going to go after wholesale, make sure you're on Fair. Yes, the marketplace is a bit saturated and you may not get approved the first time that you apply, but keep applying. You'll eventually get in. And remember that Fair is just a platform. Even if you don't get found by a whole bunch of retailers who discover you through Fair, it's still a good way to just manage your wholesale process. So you can use it to research people, to reach out to people, to give people 30-day terms before they have to pay for your product while you still get paid up front. There's a lot of good reasons to be on Fair. And don't forget other major marketplaces. So you can list your products on Amazon, Walmart, even Target has an online marketplace, though I think that one is by application only. These platforms have massive built-in audiences and give your brand access to customers who may not typically shop small businesses or go out of their way to shop small businesses. Of course, selling on these marketplaces is going to come with additional fees and a ton of competition. But they can still be a powerful way to grow your reach and increase your sales volume. And remember that those fees that you're paying them, you're paying for exposure to their audience. Plus, if you are on Shopify, the Shopify Marketplace Connect app makes it so easy to sync your products with these platforms, managing your listings, your inventory, and orders all in one place. So that's a huge time saver and makes it a no-brainer to at least give them a try. Again, you don't have to tackle all of these channels at once. Start with one or two that align best with your target audience and products. Take the time to set them up correctly so that you have the best chance of finding success. Expanding to new sales channels is an investment of time upfront, but it's one that pays off by diversifying your revenue streams and reaching new customers. Again, with so many tools and integrations available now, there's really no reason not to give it a try. Now, if you want to put a little more oomph behind your marketing efforts, it might be time to start investing in paid ads. I know a lot of people are afraid of ads. They think they're too complicated, too expensive, or that they just don't work anymore. But that is not true. Is there a skill to running meta ads? Yes. Can you do it? Also, yes. The number one thing you need when running meta ads is patience and a willingness to test. Ads are not set it and forget it. They're about learning what works, tweaking as you go, and refining your campaigns over time. But once you crack the code, the payoff can be huge. Ads are an investment. I know it can feel counterintuitive to spend money when your budget is tight, but that's exactly the point. By investing in ads, you're creating a system to generate more revenue, which gives you the funds to reinvest in even more ads. It's a cycle that builds momentum. And once it starts rolling, it can seriously transform your business. This is also why I recommend you learn to do them yourself before you invest in an agency. And there's a few reasons why. One, the money you would spend on the agency is money you can put toward your ad budget. The more you can invest in the actual ads, the faster you can test, learn, and scale. Two, I want you to be dangerous enough with ads that you know when someone is doing a good job. Does that mean when you finally outsource them that you should micromanage everything the agency does? No, that's a whole other problem that we can discuss a different day. But it does mean you'll know how to read the metrics and ensure that you are staying profitable. Can you grow organically? Absolutely. But let's be real, organic is slow AF. Those overnight successes you see on social media, they're the exception, not the rule. Most of us don't have the luxury of waiting months or years for organic strategies to pay off, especially when you've got bills to pay and goals to crush. Ads allow you to speed up the process and get your products in front of the right people faster. The beauty of meta ads is that you can start small, test different audiences, creatives, and messaging until you find your sweet spot. This is actually the opposite of throwing spaghetti at the wall because you're collecting data so that you can refine your strategy and scale what works. I know that ads might feel intimidating at first, but they're worth it. Think of them as a tool to amplify your efforts, drive revenue, and set your business up for long-term success. If you want to give ads a shot, but you're afraid to go it alone, come join the Lounge membership. We've got the resources you need to get you started, and our resident meta ad strategist, Anna, is there to answer all your questions and give you feedback on how to improve your campaigns along the way. As much as I love and believe in ads and know that they are a great way to speed up your business growth, they are not a replacement for a strong organic marketing strategy. We don't want all of your eggs in the paid ads basket. So that's why it's really important for you to also get consistent with your overall marketing strategy. And consistency isn't just about showing up regularly. It's about giving your customers a reason to come back to your store. That's where marketing campaigns fit into your big picture. Instead of randomly posting on social media or sending sporadic emails, I want you to focus on building campaigns that create excitement, spark curiosity, and drive action. Think about it. Your customers are bombarded with messages every day. So if you want to stand out, you need to be intentional about what you're sharing and why. And it's more than just staying top of mind, though that is absolutely important too. And if that's all you can do, fine, just show up any way you can. But ideally, you want to be delivering clear value or incentive that gets them to take the next step. The easiest way to do this is just start by planning out a few core campaigns for the year. These can be tied to seasonal moments, product launches, or even just a random flash sale. What matters most is that each campaign has a goal and a reason for your customers to engage with you. So instead of just sending a random email that you think up at the last minute, create a campaign around something like your New Year refresh, where you highlight products that help your customers start the year off strong. And you can mix that with other tips and tricks, maybe a blog post, and sort of spread that message over multiple days. And these campaigns don't have to rely on discounts or promotions. You could create a limited edition bundle product, launch your new collection with an exclusive early access offer, or create a content series that educates and inspires your audience. The goal here is to create opportunities to re-engage your customer and build excitement around your brand. And the reason why intentional marketing campaigns are so magical is because all of your marketing platforms work together, right? Your emails, your social posts, even your ads can play a role in telling that same story. And this cohesive approach not only makes your marketing more effective, but it's ultimately going to save you time because you are working from a single plan where you know over X number of weeks, X number of days, this is what we're talking about. And we just need to come at it from different angles versus trying to come up with new ideas every single day on the fly. This is another area that I can support you with in the lounge membership, and it's actually one of my favorite things to do. And that brings me to the last, but certainly not least project you can do in the new year, branding and packaging updates. While I don't want you to go financially overboard when it comes to your branding and packaging, it can still play a really important role in the overall perception of your brand and product. First impressions matter, and your packaging is often the first physical touch point a customer has with your business. A thoughtful, well-designed unboxing experience can make a lasting impact and turn a one-time buyer into a loyal customer. Start by asking yourself, does my branding and packaging still reflect the vibe of my business? As your business grows, your target audience and your product line might evolve, and your branding should evolve with it. This doesn't mean you need a complete overhaul, but small tweaks like an updated font, fresh colors, or streamlined logos can keep your look modern and aligned with your audience. Packaging updates can also make a huge difference. For example, updating your product labels, adding branded tissue paper, or including a personalized thank you card can elevate the customer experience without a massive investment. This can be especially important for things like skincare or food products, anything that goes in or on the body. For example, if those labels look janky, the customer might not trust the quality of your product. If you can make your packaging eco-friendly by switching to recyclable or compostable materials, that's a bonus many customers value today. Think about the little details that surprise and delight your customers. Maybe it's a QR code on the box that links to a how-to video, or again, a handwritten note that makes the experience feel personal. These small touches show your customer that you care about their experience, which helps build trust and loyalty. And don't forget that your branding is not just about visuals, it's about messaging too. If your tone of voice or taglines feel outdated or no longer resonate with your customers, take the time to refresh them. If you struggle with the brand messaging piece, the AI brand brief that's releasing during the Badassery Blitz will help you with this. Part of that process is taking a super deep dive into your ideal customer, which should unlock a lot of insights for you. One of my lounge members who started going through the customer clarity workbook said, I feel like I'm getting to know this woman that is unfolding as I go through the prompts you have laid out in the course. It's super eye-opening, even for me in my business when I thought I knew who my people were. When I did this exercise for myself, there were just things that were revealed that I hadn't really even thought about. All right, so I know we just went through a lot of ideas and you might be thinking, I need to do all of these things right now. But no, you don't have to do all the things to move your business forward. The truth is, if you try and tackle everything all at once, it's going to lead to overwhelm. And when you're overwhelmed, nothing's going to get done and these projects will continue to get pushed off like they already have been. Instead, I want you to pick 1 or 2 projects to focus on and prioritize them. Think of the rest as nice to haves that you can come back to if and when you have the capacity. The goal is for you to make meaningful progress in the areas that are going to have the biggest impact on your business right now. So, how do you decide what to prioritize? Here's a few guidelines to help you figure it out. 1, what's broken or outdated? So just start looking at what is just not working in your business. If your website is slow or clunky, that's probably going to hurt your sales and you might want to focus on that. If your email automations are super basic or they haven't been touched in a really long time and your business has changed, you're probably leaving money on the table. So fixing these foundational issues should take priority because they impact every part of your customer journey and your business as a whole. Number 2, ask yourself what will bring you the biggest ROI. I want you to get the most bang for your buck or time. Projects like optimizing your email automations or setting up Facebook ads might require some upfront effort, but they have the potential to generate revenue consistently over a long period of time. Number 3, what's been holding you back? Is there a project you've been avoiding because it feels overwhelming or time-consuming? That might be the very thing you need to tackle right now. Sometimes the projects we procrastinate on are the ones that have the biggest payoff, and I am 300% guilty of this. Number 4, what aligns with your business goals? Consider your overarching goals for the year. Are you focused on increasing visibility? Then prioritize something like expanding to new sales channels. Are you looking to streamline operations? Then it might be time to document your processes for delegation or update your tech stack. And then lastly, what can you realistically handle? Be honest about your time, energy, and resources. If you're already feeling stretched thin, pick a smaller, more manageable project that you can actually complete. Progress is progress, no matter how small. I will remind you again that you do not have to do everything all at once. Building a successful e-commerce business is a marathon, not a sprint. Focus on the projects that will move the needle for you right now, and trust the rest will still be there when you're ready to do them. Whatever you decide to tackle, just commit to starting, to doing it. That's the hardest part. Make sure you actually mark out the time in the calendar to get these things done. And once you get started, you'll start to build momentum and it will be way easier to tackle your to-do list. Before we go, let me remind you to check the show notes for links to all of the resources, courses, and other episodes we talked about today. Depending upon the projects you're planning on tackling in the new year, I've probably got resources to support you. You can head to ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff to get on my email list so you don't miss out on any of those deals. And that, my friends, is a wrap on this week's episode. As always, thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about growing your e-commerce business, get started with my free resource library at ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff and get an invite to the Lounge, my e-commerce marketing membership. When you're ready for one-on-one support, apply to work with me at ecommercebadassery.com/apply. Before you go, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a rating and review and tap that follow button. This pushes me up the chart so I can support more scrappy e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. I'm on a mission to reach as many as I can, and I could really use your help. Thanks so much in advance. Until next time, e-commerce friend, stay badass.